Hello, welcome to Not Another Who podcast. I'm your host, Sam Morrell.
And I am Christopher Hyde. How was your Christmas?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Good.
We've got a lot of things planned for this year, haven't we?
We do. So what do we have planned?
Well, we're thinking of a new series we got planned where we pit two Doctor Who episodes or stories together and see which one is the best.
Yeah. We're currently debating on what to call it, but because we don't know whether to do the best of the worst or the worst of the best.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be throwing out every episode that we do, we'll be throwing it out to the audience beforehand so we can get your reactions in as well when we record.
Yeah.
So be sure to look out for our community posts where we'll be posting every versus battle against each other.
Yeah, our first one is time. Our first one is the twin dilemma and versus time lapse. We're gonna see which one,
that feels like a battle to the worst.
we'll see which one is better in either of our opinions, basically.
And if you want to get in on the action as well, we will link the community post down below so you can put in your vote so we can read out them on the next episode.
Yeah.
What else have we got planned? We are doing a McGann a-thon, aren't we?
Yeah. We got the TV movie
I like that,
coming up.
McGann-a-thon.
McGannathon, yeah.
Well, I think it's going to start with the TV movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to start with the TV movie, and then we might talk about some Big Finish stuff throughout
and
his
Night of the Doctor as well.
Night of the Doctor.
Maybe even a couple of his comics, because there's a couple of comics that are quite interesting from his era. So we're just going to dive in, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this, if you haven't guessed, this is the City of Death review. And do you want to take us off with today's question?
So, I mean, it's agreed throughout the fandom that Douglas Adams is one of the greatest Doctor Who writers of all time. Even though he has only penned 3 Doctor Who episodes, you could technically count the Cricket Men as an unscripted episode, an unfilmed episode. So that being said, does City of Death count, or could you class it as a quintessential Doctor Who episode? Which I think if you stay tuned, you will find out the answer
at the end of the episode.
Yeah, well, but you have to actually watch through. Watch the analysis, the concurrence, the Tom Baker behind me. I love your waiter. He's so violent.
Butler.
Goodbye, Duggan.
Bye, Duggan. There's going to be a lot of quoting in this episode. It's a very quotable episode.
So let's start off. So obviously, City of Death, the serial in question was produced in season 17. I believe it was the second episode for season 17.
Yes, after Destiny of the Daleks.
After the derogatory of the Daleks. The Doctor, played by Tom Baker, and Romana 2, played by Lala Ward, who was the ex-wife of Richard Dawkins, believe it or not, and Tom Baker.
And Tom Baker, yeah.
Yeah. She married to eccentric
They were
figures.
married at the time.
Yeah, they were married at the time, but I'm saying like, she also married Richard Dawkins, which was an interesting one. Didn't last long.
I mean, it lasted quite a long time.
Was it? Oh no, it was Tom Baker. It
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
a long.
Tom Baker
Yeah,
and Lala Ward, they didn't last long, no.
no.
About 18
The
months.
writer for this episode was David Agnew, also known as
Douglas
Douglas
Adams.
Adams.
And a story idea from David Fisher.
Yes, we'll go more into that because I've got some research on that. Yes, from a story idea by David Fisher, but it was pretty much rewritten and made by Douglas Adams. And producer Graham Williams, I think, also had a hand in the story process.
He did. He had quite a hand in quite a few stories of his era. So,
Well, he was pretty much a writer in his own right as well. So
he wrote
he
some.
expended those talents on the writing process to make sure every story was up to a past standard.
Yeah, I feel
Some
a
maybe
producer.
slipped through the cracks.
I feel a producer needs to know how to write. Really.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, it's like having a structural engineer who knows how a bridge works.
I mean, J&T, he left it to his script editor. He had no idea how to write.
But then his strengths were more behind the scenes focused and more getting the show noticed sort of thing. He was more the flamboyant type that did silly stunts or got the doctors some form of airtime on chat shows and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think with every producer, you get a strength that relies to their core focus. Like Barry Letts was very good at sort of going with a location in mind or having some sort of thing in mind and then building the episode around that. Like the Damons.
Yeah.
The director, Michael Hayes, also did this episode. Don't know much on him. Don't know if you want to expand.
David Hayes,
Michael Hayes.
David Hayes, Michael Hayes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you said, David Hayes.
I thought I said Michael Hayes. No, I said director Michael Hayes.
Oh, okay.
Let's just cut that. Yes.
He directed 3 Doctor Who stories.
Was this his first or his second or third?
He directed the Androids of Tara and the Armageddon Factor. So this is his third story.
Right. Okay. So yeah, he did the Key to Time and then jumped on this.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. And then there's Catherine Schell. Actors. Julian Glover is Count Scarlioni or Scaroth. Was most notable in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, as well as Star Wars, James Bond.
He was James Bond villain and Game of Thrones.
And Game of Thrones. Very, very popular actor. Then we had Catherine Schell as Countess Scarlioni, Tom Chadbourne as Duggan.
Catherine Schell is most famous for playing Maya in the second season of Space 1999.
I don't think I watched that far ahead, but that's pretty cool knowledge. Jerry Anderson.
Yeah.
Then Tom Chadbourne as Duggan. Duggan. And then John Cleese and Eleanor Bron cameoed in the art gallery in the fourth part.
Yeah, we'll get back to them later.
Yeah. So the synopsis. While on holiday in Paris, 1979, the Doctor and Romana noticed cracks in time, localized time distortions. Their investigation leads them to Count Scarlioni, a suave billionaire who is funding illegal time travel experiments by selling multiple original copies of the Mona Lisa. The Doctor discovers that Scarlioni is actually Scarab, the last of the Jaggeroth race. 400 million years ago, Scarab's ship exploded above a barren Earth. The explosion splintered Scarab into 12 versions of himself, scattered across human history. These versions have spent centuries pushing human technology forward so that he can eventually build a time machine to travel back to the past and prevent the accident. It's first of all, what are your initial thoughts on this episode, barring the it's great or whatever? Just what's your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are. I sounded like John Pertwee in the Time Monster when he got reversed.
Any attempt to mention the Time Monster or John Pertwee?
Yeah, my initial thoughts of this episode is the music. I love the music in this episode.
It's very it sets the tone quite right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sets the tone. The most famous part from this, that do 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 do, that I love that.
Yeah,
I think this is probably what's his name? I'll call myself a Whovian. What is his name?
Dudley Simpson.
Dudley Simpson. That's him. I think this is his best score.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
I think this is definitely his best score.
It's the most memorable off the top of my head. In my opinion, I think this is the one that solidified, because, if we think about him as the classic Who equivalent to Murray Gold, Murray has good songs that are memorable and some that are not too good. They still do the trick, but they're just not as memorable. Whereas Dudley has or had memorable scores. It's just this was definitely one of them. You can definitely remember this episode just from the tune alone, and that's probably one of the great marks of a composer.
Yeah, definitely. And the chemistry of Tom Baker and Lala Ward is sublime in this story.
This is one of my favorite sort of Doctor companion interactions because they're both on the same page about it. She might be a little bit behind, but he doesn't talk down to her or treat her as lesser.
No.
In fact, he kind of prompts her to work it out herself as well, and that's good as an audience sort of surrogate because it makes you want to try and figure it out and sort it out yourself. And it's like the Doctor's giving you the tools to do that through Romana.
Yeah.
And also I find her, so out of the two Romanas, I do prefer Romana 2, mainly because I find that warmness a little bit more connecting with an audience member than Mary. Like, Mary Tam did a great job, but you can kind of see a bit of a coldness to her where she tries to emulate more of the Time Lord quirky weirdness. Whereas Romana 2 kind of just goes with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's more on board. The actress herself is on board with the silliness of the episode.
But I don't know if it is silly because one thing that stuck out to me was the Doctor pretends to be silly to kind of put his villains off guard in a sense. It's it's very calling back to Patrick Troughton and how
I
he
was
used
just
to
about
disarm
to
his
say, yeah.
villains. Like Tom in this episode just kind of plays the fool, but you kind of see he's a few steps ahead of them,
Mm,
and that makes for interesting storytelling, especially in the first two parts when he's trying to figure out what's going on. You can kind of see
mm,
he's leaping ahead of these people and
yeah.
getting caught intentionally or going to Scarlione's intentionally, giving himself up in a sense, but he's not giving himself up because he's going to get out of it. It's just you're waiting to see how he gets out of it.
Mm,
Yeah. Very reminiscent of like almost like a Sherlock Holmesy kind of vibe
yeah.
where he's deducting as he's going along.
Mm,
Um, and that I think speaks to the quality of the writing to me.
yeah. Julian Glover has
Mhm.
he's been in Doctor Who a few times. He was in the Crusade. He played Richard the Lionheart.
No way.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I swear he was in another one. Or is it just them two? I think it's just them two.
He was in Inside Number Nine. Just looking at his filmography. Uh Inside Number Nine popped up and I was like, oh, he was in Bergerac.
Bergerac. He
8
was.
episodes. Yes, he was in 2 episodes. So he's been in yeah, Richard the
Yeah,
Lionheart or the Crusades, and he was in City of Death.
yeah.
He was also in Blake Seven,
He was. He was in. I think a series one episode. I think it was series
and
one.
we also have a Space 1999 alumni.
Yeah, he must have.
He was Jarrett.
He must have known Catherine Shaw before that. Oh no, he was
Hmm.
in season one, so
Oh,
maybe not.
but
Yeah,
it's interesting to see crossovers.
yeah. He was in quite a few science fiction shows um, during the 70s and 80s.
Well, he was also in where is it? Lost it. He was in Star Wars Episode 5
He was
as General Veers
one of Darth Vader's goons.
in I think it was the AT-AT when it's in the Hoth
Mm.
sequence at the
Yeah,
start.
yeah.
Yeah, and also Indiana Jones and the Big B, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade
With Sean Connery.
with Sean Connery. Yeah, so a very prolific actor. You know, if you think about all the best episodes that have these prolific actors in classic Who, not counting New Who. So you've got obviously Julian Glover in this and the Crusades. You've got Michael Gough, who was in the Celestial Toymaker.
Mm.
You've got Day of the Daleks, the Candyman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but I know who you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so when you think about it, doesn't that speak to its quintessential Doctor Who-ness that you've got this great actor in a great story on a
Mm.
silly little sci-fi show? I think it boosts our questioning more towards that answer as a
Mm.
little, hint. But I want to take a second to go over the viewing figures for this episode. So, in part one, that was broadcast on the 29th of September, it got a rating of 12.4 million viewers. By the end, by part four, on the 20th of October, it was at 16.1.
Mm.
So that is a almost 4 million increase
You know
across.
why the ratings were that high at the time?
Well, I know what you're gonna say, and yes, it is part to do with it. but I do see that this episode was very good in its own right. But go on.
Well, the rival channel ITV were on strike.
Yeah, and people had nothing better to do than watch Doctor Who. Yeah, um,
Yeah.
but I don't factor that in to the cause. I think it was a good episode, and I think the viewing figures solidify that as well. Like, War Between recently got more viewers than Doctor Who did in the last two series.
The whole of the Gatwa era.
The whole of the Gatwa era, it got more viewers than. And I mean, you can't necessarily say there was nothing better to watch because Traitors was on at the same time
Mm.
and people were still watching War Between. So, I don't know if it's correlation, causation, but yeah, that's my argument. So I've got a bit of trivia, fun facts. I don't know whether you've got any to throw our way.
uh, the original title for this episode, I watched the documentary on the Blu-ray box set right here.
Oh,
Yes, and the original title was supposed to be "The Gamble in Time."
the gambler. I mean, that
It doesn't
kind of makes more sense to the story than City of Death.
it doesn't have the same ring to it though.
No, no. Gambling time, maybe, but the gambling time.
I think it's either the Gamble in Time or Gamble in Time. I don't know which one, but
It's now starting to morph. In my mind, it's starting to morph into gambling time.
Gamble in Time in at William Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, yeah, because I think the main thing about this story that gripes me is called City of Death, and there's hardly any death. There's like a couple of people.
Yeah,
Maybe what? No, one person. No, two people, because Scaroth and the doctor, the scientist,
yeah. The what's his name? The
Doctor
Nutty Professor.
Thingamacase. Yeah,
Yeah, he got aged to death, didn't he?
he did. He got a hope. To be fair, that kind of reminded me of the master in Last of the Time Lords when he uses his laser screwdriver.
Mm.
Did remind me of that.
Yeah,
So I wonder
yeah.
if RTT stole that.
He probably did.
Yeah, it's. I just think that City of Death, you hope for a bit more death.
Yeah.
It's just it's false advertising. I'm going to go to the Advertising Standards Authority.
Bit too late now for
Slap the BBC with a fine.
for a 46-year-old show.
Yeah. So this is the first foreign trip in Doctor Who land. They
Mhm.
didn't go outside the UK previously on any previous adventures.
But they did after for the
They did,
Ark
yeah.
of Infinity and
Caves of
the Two
Androzani
Doctors.
and the Caves of Androzani as well. Lanzarote.
No, that was Planet of Fire.
Oh, Planet of Fire. I
That
thought
that
I thought it was Caves of Androzani for some reason. No, it was Planet of
I think
Fire.
it was a clay pit in Dorset or something.
Maybe, or a Welsh quarry.
Yeah,
To save money on sets, the production unit realized it was actually cheaper to fly a skeleton crew to Paris than build sets in London. Obviously, they filmed all the interior sets in London because all the location footage is just them running through Paris,
yeah.
which isn't a bad thing. It's nice. I like it.
Mm.
Um, Also, with the filming, many of the scenes of the Dr. Romana running through Paris were filmed guerrilla style without official permits, leading to genuine confused looks from French bystanders. And I saw this when I was rewatching the episode. There's the bit when the Doctor and Romana leave the train at the beginning, when they're going to Paris on the train.
Yeah.
No, they're going into Paris. They're going into the station, and then they leave the train carriage, and then you just see this woman who's confused as to why the camera is so close to the train and fixated on her. And I find that really funny for a Doctor Who episode, how the show was still at its cult status where you could literally go around London, Paris and film.
Mm.
Like if a production company, if Doctor Who did that now, they'd be swamped by fans.
Yeah.
Or you'd
Yeah.
actually have to get official permits, annoyingly.
Yeah, I don't think then France really knew what Doctor Who was.
I mean, it was probably still shown in the country because they would have
Yeah.
bought the they would have bought the rights to the overseas episodes, but
Mm.
it wasn't popular enough that it would have garnered too much attention.
Mm. Well, if you live in France and you watched Doctor Who back in the day, comment below. Tell us your thoughts.
Yes. If you saw Tom Baker running through Paris and you were a kid at that point and you were like, "What's going on? Tell us. We want to know." The 6 Mona Lisas. Douglas Adams came up with the idea of having Leonardo da Vinci paint 6 copies of the Mona Lisa so that Gareth could sell them as genuine to fund his project. This is one of my favourite plot points of the episode. So I didn't know whether you wanted to expand on that as well.
He actually, it was like an untelevised story. I think after the Mask of Mandragora, I read this somewhere, so don't quote me on this. After the Mask of Mandragora, he met Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah, I think it was at the end of that episode, he says, "I'd love to meet Leonardo," and obviously he did. So
and an off-screen advance. Why do I keep saying advance? And an off-screen adventure. Yeah. And in an off-screen, yeah, they met. But I kind of think that because obviously the Fourth Doctor said he wrote Hamlet in the episode as well, or he did the writing while Shakespeare's hands were sprained.
yeah.
Maybe too much of the old wrist action. Being alone in London. So to me, it kind of feels like the Doctor has met or constantly meets these famous figures because it made me think of the episode with Agatha Christie and how the Doctor says, "Oh, I've always wanted to meet her." And it kind of made me think, well, what if a classic Doctor had met her already, and he's maybe just re-meeting her again in a different. It's the same thing with like Leonardo da Vinci. It's like, what if the first Doctor bumped into him first? That's the kind of vibe I got from like when the Doctor leaves him a note saying your best pal or something. Or like maybe a second Doctor. I don't know if first would call him pal or be that chummy with him.
Do you think the third Doctor will?
Oh yeah. I mean I would say the third Doctor would marvel at his mechanical like the helicopter, like his inventions. I think the third Doctor would be more amazed at that than his artwork, but would never dismiss his artwork. The fifth Doctor would just be like, "Oh, I don't know who you are." I don't know. That was my attempt. Yeah, Duggan's punch. The character Duggan is famous among fans for solving almost every problem by punching someone. The Doctor famously calls his final strike possibly the most important punch in history. Ah, Duggan. I do have to admit, when watching this episode back, I wish Duggan had stayed on for maybe two, maybe three more episodes, or even just stayed in the TARDIS just a bit longer, because
Yeah.
he feels like a
Th-
Chesterton type.
Yeah, they have a good repartee,
Mm.
don't they?
Ah, repartee,
Repartee.
repertoire.
Repertoire. Yeah, they have a good bond. The
Mm.
Fourth Doctor,
Chemistry.
Romana, chemistry. That's it.
We got there in the end.
Or is it physics? Physics. No,
Physics.
physics.
Correctamundo. Anyway, yes.
Yeah,
He has has great chemistry.
yeah. The three of them have a great chemistry. I think, and I would have loved for them to travel and probably until the end of season 17, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, and it for me, I think it's sad in a way because of the companions who came after. Because I feel like Tegan and Adric and Nissa and it was better leaving them for the Fifth Doctor's era and having Baker's sort of finish off with a good solid cast. But
Mm.
yeah, Duggan seems like one of those where I really wish he had stuck around more because I there was so much potential in that character.
Mm. Yeah, but instead, he doesn't travel with the Doctor, and he gets lumbered with Adric later on in the season 18.
Well, yeah, his final season,
Yeah.
which is all right. And then also there's K9's absence. K9 does not appear in the Paris scenes because it was too expensive and technically difficult to transport the dog. Um,
Hmm.
do you feel a lack of K9 affects this story?
Not really.
I mean, I feel like he was kind of a crutch on the show in that era anyway. Like I love K9. I think he's a great asset
Mm.
for Doctor Who, but the more we saw of him, the less relevant he got.
Yeah, and
And there was
during the
never
season,
any sorry.
during season 17, he wasn't actually played by John Leeson. He was played by David Briley.
Oh. Oh, because were there complications with casting?
Yeah, it was like a contract issue or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, he was played by David Briley in season 17.
But yeah, it was. I love K9. I think there was not never really any K9 centric stories going forward that could have included him. So,
No.
and also I think he would have figured out the plot too early. It's better for the Doctor and Romana to go through this journey
Mm,
of figuring out along the way.
yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
It's all good.
I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something, but then just like,
So let's talk more about let's talk more about Douglas Adams, maybe. The writer behind Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
not actually yet. It was
Not canonic, not at this moment,
yeah.
but
That's
his
why he
most
left Doctor
notable,
Who.
yes, because he got the gig to make his own show.
Mm.
Or were they radio at this part? Because it was
I
radio before TV, wasn't
think
it?
I think it was like the radio show of has already come out and it was a big hit. Then it
Yes.
became the TV show.
Yeah. And then eventually the film.
Yeah.
Um, did you know actually the third book of Hitchhiker's Guide is actually it was partly adapted from this story.
No.
So
No, I didn't
Life,
know.
the Universe and Everything, which is the third book of the Hitchhiker's Guide, was oh no, sorry, it wasn't this story. There were elements of this story that were recycled into the third book, as well as the Doctor Who and the
Mm.
Cricket Men, his unbroadcast episode.
Right. That's pretty interesting.
So I guess when you go back and reread or listen to or whatever, if you go back and explore life, the meaning, life, everything in the universe, you will probably pick up on a bit more Doctor Who-y vibes
Mm.
because that was originally meant to be a Doctor Who episode
Mm.
or a Doctor Who story.
Yeah, I've not actually read the book, so
I've listened to them, and they
mm,
are very good.
yeah.
But then Stephen Fry could make anything sound good.
Did he read them then?
Yeah.
Ah. Mm. Um, what do you think about the Graham Williams era? And
Hmm.
this story, do you think it's the best story of this era?
So remind me, when did Graham Williams' era begin?
It began with the horror of Fang Rock,
Which we
and then
covered last year.
yeah, we covered it last year, and it
Yeah.
ended with the Horns of Nymon.
And it ended with the horns of Nyman.
Lord Nymon.
So,
Sorry,
so it didn't end with Sharda, or did he not produce Sharda?
Sharda didn't air.
It didn't air, but was he producer on that?
Yeah, he was producer on that. Yeah.
Okay, because although I know it didn't air, I still count Sharda as an episode of season 17.
Mm.
Um, okay. It's weird because I haven't watched a lot of these for a long time. I need to rewatch. I mean, Destiny and the Daleks. Let's say let's just agree that's not good. um, it's yeah, it's got a good concept, but it's just not good execution wise. I love Sharda. I love City of Death. Season
What about the Key to
16.
Time series?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Again, that's another blank. I mean, I have a blank spot in Tom Baker's era because I watched it all the way through once and forgot most of it by the time I watched through it.
Mm.
So I need to watch through it again to kind of get a refresher. But I would say, oh, see, I do like the invisible enemy. That one's good, and the invasion of time. That's very good.
Mm.
I would say it's probably in the top three, maybe top two, because you've got to also include horror of Fang Rock like that. I would say
Mm.
probably that is the of the Williams era, that's the most quintessential
Yeah.
story. That set the tone. And then you've got City of Death, which I think is probably just under
Mm.
for me. But then
Mm.
I'd go with that. I would say it's not necessarily quintessential, but I would say it's almost. I'd say it's close. I'd say it's the blueprint for what New Who did with it, with like characterizing the Doctor.
Yeah. It it's definitely something that
There's a lot of
that they
Moffat
they
vibe.
take elements of the Williams era and put it into New
Mm.
Who.
Except they just don't go. They try and pull back on the violence a little bit. The Williams era was a lot more violent,
I think
or the
by the
tone of the violence was a lot more. I mean, you've got to think the drowning sequence of the Doctor in Invasion of Time.
the drowning, that's Deadly
Oh,
Assassin.
Deadly Assassin. Yeah,
That's
sorry,
from
I got mixed up.
that's from
I
the
get
Philip
them
Hinch,
mixed.
it's from
They
the
both
Philip
take
Hinchcliffe era.
they both take place on Gallifrey. I mix it up all the time. I don't know why.
Was like drowning sequence. Wait, that's Deadly Assassin.
Yeah, sorry, sorry everyone. I'll revoke my Whovian membership. Go away now. No, I would definitely say it is quintessential. It's probably one of the most quintessential, in my opinion.
Mm.
Because what really makes a quintessential Doctor Who episode?
Uh, Basically the quirky elements of the Graham Williams era.
Yeah, I'd say a clever plot,
Clever, yeah,
not
clever.
or simple.
Mm?
Clever or simple, but goes into clever. Like Pyramids of Mars is a simple plot,
Mm.
but its elements are very clever, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And then
and
also, sorry,
like sharp dialogue as well.
yes,
And City
dialogue
of
you
Death
could cut with a
has
knife.
that.
Yeah, it's tight. The dialogue's that's what it's got quite Moffat-y vibes, but without the
Mm.
look at me, I'm amazing elements. It's
Yeah.
no one, no one, pats the Doctor on the back for being clever. It's just he is that. He just goes through that.
Mm.
Whereas with Moffat, kind of every 5 minutes, it was like, "Oh, Doctor, you're so brilliant. How did you get us out of this one?" Also, like, if I'm thinking quintessential episodes, I'm thinking the Daleks, the William Hartnell story. I'm thinking Tomb of the Cyberman. I'm thinking, what's the one? Ambassadors of Death. I'm thinking, pyramids or this or robots or Zygons. Yeah, like it's that I think quintessential Doctor Who is something that you can pinpoint and say that is a good episode.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm,
I think City of Death belongs in that camp of
mm.
quintessential Doctor Who. If someone didn't hasn't seen Doctor Who, City of Death will be the one of them I'd pick.
If I was showing a new Who fan classic Who, I would say City of Death would be definitely on my list of recommendations.
Yeah, it's just a tight little four-parter, and
Mm. But it operates in such a unique way that it doesn't, there's not a lot of overthinking you have to
mm,
do. You can follow the story quite well and pick up things along the way, or you can be
yeah,
really invested in it and work it out for yourself.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. So, do you wish to go back to our question?
Well, I think we've already answered our question, haven't we?
Yeah, true.
I think our question has been answered through not just picking apart the story itself, but how it feels as a story.
Mm,
The a story is only as good as the people that appreciate it, and a large portion of the fan base always appreciates this story in particular.
yeah.
Hmm. Like on a proper Doctor Who episode ranking, it always ranks quite highly.
Mm.
Not like what I saw the other day where Dot and Bubble and 73 Yards were in the top 10.
Mm.
Oh, Sam's frozen. Oh no.
Oh,
Sam, where have you
oh
gone?
no. I'm still here. I've just frozen.
So that was City of Death. What are your thoughts? Leave us in the comments below. Whereabouts would you rank it in terms of your top 10 stories of all time? That's a good question to ask. And
Yeah.
if you've enjoyed this episode, you can watch more of our stuff on our channel. We've got loads of videos that you can pour through, and we've got loads coming up in the year, including a maybe Cybermen's special month of celebration.
Yeah, the
So
60th anniversary.
the 60th anniversary. That's something we genuinely forgot to say at the start of this episode, that it popped into my mind. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. On the bombshell of Sam being frozen in time, we bid you adieu. Like, comment, subscribe.
See you later.
See you later.